Welcome to All Aboard with Ned.
Yeah.
Adam. Unfortunately, I have to do vitamin money and need to sit at my computer all fucking day. And LK.
I can see my tan, man. I'm looking good.
All right, boys. It's been a hell of a week. Lots of old friends that became enemies. Some sort of friends again, and now they're taking shots at Kirk and the Minifans again. First, we had, as you know, everyone knows, Curtis's only could be described as drunken rant. And then today, Thursday, none of us heard it because none of us actually listened to the podcast. And I'm sure maybe of the five that do, Chris from Wakefield is either one of them or was alerted by his great grandfather who told him about it. But Jerry Callahan started coming at the Minifans today. So if there's one person you want to talk to when Jerry comes around and starts attacking, it's Kirk. Mm-hmm. If you can't get Kirk, then the next best person is the person who hates Jerry with the fire of 1,000 suns.
Yep.
Ned.
Yep.
Go off, King.
So, how do I describe this? I heard the clip, and we won't play the clip. We'll save that for the big show. But we heard the clip thanks to Chris from Wakefield, who did yeoman's work. Actually, listening to that drivel with Turtle Boy and Jerry. Just the jealousy is just dripping out of it. They're so jealous of Kirk's popularity, of us to have he would love to have Califans. He does, but there's probably three of them. They're probably over the age of 90. He actually fell
into YouTube.
Right. And he also fell right into the trap. One of my pet peeves has always been, then he demeans someone. He does the baby talk, like Latino Kirk, he does like that type of thing. He goes into it. It's a natural thing for him. Yep. And the fact that he was always on the radio, protected by the microphone and a dump button, that, he could do whatever he wanted, say whatever he wanted within FCC guidelines. And of course, whatever the powers that be let him say, because God forbid he would ever take a risk. He always plays a safe zone, which is his right wing area of security, where he doesn't go too far out. And when he does, he used to have Kirk to bail him out. Now he doesn't. Now he's got Turtle Boy.
Didn't they get in trouble, like Dennis and Callahan, like a long time ago? They got suspended for like inappropriate remarks.
Yeah. And I heard that live. I was listening to it when I was living up in Portland. It was actually Dino, if I recall correctly. It was Dino who made the inappropriate remark, and then Jerry followed up with it, because of course Jerry's gutless, right? So and he followed, but they both got suspended because they didn't stop it right away. And as we dig deeper into and Turtle Boy's a whole different subject, right? I guess he does pretty good work on his site. I'll never pay for it, so he can beg for all the support him all he wants. But he's a pretty decent reporter, and he doesn't get the credit. He should get more credit.
And he does take the risks. I mean, we talk about Jerry being gutless. He takes the risks and will cover things that others wouldn't touch. No one, obviously, at the Globe or the Herald, etc. So
he's the guy in high school when you hung out with your buddies. He was the one that when he's with your group, he hates the other group, and then when he's that other group, he hates your group.
What I don't understand is the praise and the criticism. Like you say, oh, Minifans are awesome, Minihan is awesome, and then he goes to Jerry's show. Oh yeah, they're in a cult.
Yep, they're in a cult, right?
And by the way, you mentioned Jerry's baby voice.
Read his articles. For Christ's sake,
exactly.
You mentioned Jerry's baby voice, but the other thing that we always talk about other people in radio, and the go-to thing is what's the last name? Minnie Hank or whatever. Yeah. Jerry saying mini fans instead of Minifans, for example, was just an absolute that. I mean, that's all you need to know. That's all.
He's jealous, right? He's jealous that he doesn't have the same exposure, that he doesn't engage with his audience of 7 years old and older. So he needs to. He feels like he needs to attack to get some audience.
And keep in mind, I think he's like a year or two older than me, so he's hitting 60 soon. But this motherfucker is so rich. First of all, he plays the Bill O'Reilly, I'm one of you. I'm one of you cards. I'm a working man. He's not a working man. He's never worked in his fucking life. And he's a shitty writer. I don't care what they say. That's the most pathetic Thanksgiving fucking jerk off to high school sports article you could ever read. I read it once and thought it was vomit. Never read it again. But he acts like he's a working class guy. He's made with bonuses. He's made a shitload of money. He's probably got eight figure. No, even before Kirk. Remember, Kirk was only a short window. From let's say the late 1990s to Minahan. He was making probably 7 figures with his bonus. 6-figure base. And with all the first place finishes, because they had no fucking competition. And the first time they got competition, they beat Howard Stern I think once. But that's the bell that they kept. Yeah, we beat Howard Stern. Right, once fuckface. And he's a multi-millionaire. His kids are old. They don't need to work. I mean, he doesn't need to work, but he can't let it go. And the best thing about it is if Sam Kennedy gave him a whiff of his ass, he would go running back to EEI to take midnight to 6 shifts for minimum wage.
Sure, he's no different than Dale. He's no different than Dale. He would bend over and just take it. And by the way, I think we're gonna get a fiery Kirk tomorrow about this because he's been on good terms. He said that with Jerry, and then he KMS Twitter retweeted Chris from Wakefield's tweet. So I'm pretty sure that we're gonna get a nice and pissed Kirk.
I think Kirk's pissed, but the other thing is also I don't know the context of why they started talking about minifans, but I believe it's because of Curtis. Right? And Kirk asking us to go after Curtis. What he doesn't realize is that he's trying to call Kirk a hypocrite for trying to cancel and go after Curtis, but Kirk is the most loyal person, and Curtis by attacking Kirk is breaking that loyalty. So fuck him. So where do you draw the line between being loyal and nice and being an asshole?
But that's been the big thing with Jerry and Kirk throughout this whole entire saga. I mean, Kirk has always said that Jerry was not loyal to him.
True.
We all know that Kirk is, again, like you said, loyalty is king to him. That's all he wants and all he demands. And Jerry didn't have his back. Jerry, by the way, was the one who made the comments that pissed off Murchison. But yet Kirk was the one who went to bat for his buddy and wouldn't back down, and therefore he took that heat and almost could have, almost ruined and ended his life. And then now again, Curtis is going after Kirk, which, by the way, if he's going after Kirk, he's going after Jerry also. It's the way it is. And Jerry is towing that I want back on radio line that he refuses to go in, and he's even, in a way, I assume Kirk views this as Jerry defending Curtis.
But it is. It's very clearly. It's exactly what it is. He's defending Curtis because he wants to stay in good graces at EEI, even though they kicked him out the fucking door, and he would love to have Greg Hill.
But I wonder he does that. I wonder if he does that because he probably gets a lot of radio listeners to their podcast. Not all, but maybe some. So he want to keep in the good graces,
Oh,
but to me,
wait, sorry, that was the tweet though. Ned, that was the tweet. The KMS retweet was Jerry's last ratings, Jerry's spring ratings, and Kirk's spring and Greg Hill's spring rating. Sorry,
correct.
Sorry for interrupting. Go back.
But so and while I could go on criticizing and shitting on Jerry fucking Callahan all day, we do need to make sure that Dave Callahan, who was fucking a god, stood up or didn't stand up. We don't know, but he came out and defended the Minifans.
Oh, he did.
He absolutely did. 100%. I mean, Turtle Boy, with all due respect, you would love to have a turtle base like the Minifans, this loyal. He probably does have a very small, much smaller and probably more fanatical base because when you read the comments in some of his articles, they're absolutely ridiculous. But Minifans give him clicks.
Yeah.
And for him to turn his back or to not to side with Jerry, but not even to stick up for Kelly can do what he wants. He's a petty, small-minded, limp dick, old man who had hair injections, fucking Botox, and liposuction fat reduction because he's a fat fuck who's too cheap to send his clothes out for laundry. And when he's in a hotel covering the Red Sox in Fort Myers, he's washing them in the pool.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, people might find, that's
greatest
so cute
story
and funny.
ever.
But that motherfucker, it costs 12 cents a pound to have your fucking laundry done in a hotel. What the fuck is your problem?
Forget that. I'd be
even if it's $50, even if it's exactly $50, it's nothing for him.
Go out and buy a new set of clothes. So,
I know, but
but what I'm saying though is he is so petty, so jealous, so insecure, so small-minded. That was a perfect example of it. He's the one who says that he's the one who challenges Kirk. Bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, everyone, you know what? Every time we all challenge Kirk. I mean, no, I haven't, right? But I haven't had really a need to, unless he wants to bring up Brady. But look at Menners. Menners challenges him all the time.
All the time.
And the trollers and the haters on Twitter go after him all the time, and he goes back at them until it becomes just too much.
But remember in the radio, Jerry wouldn't challenge him. He would just say, "Hey, calm down, Kirky. Go take a walk." No, he would never challenge. No. He would just try to move on to the next topic. So he's
correct.
And for all the Mike and Steve always just agree with Kirk talk. Mike's argument was horrendous, and I completely disagree with him. Yeah, but Mike was arguing this morning with Kirk about the whole Nick Cannon thing. He didn't just get in line. He was challenging him. It was a terrible argument.
Every one of his 28 years of inexperience came out in an argument this morning. I'm like, Jesus Christ. There's a thing anyway. But you know who's actually the most interactive in a not a combative, but would give him shit was when Carrano sat in for Steve those 2 days. I was just re-listening to that. It was really good. Yeah. And Carrano was excellent. And his uncomfortableness at not being able to do what Steve did was funny on one side, but at the same time he pushed back on Kirk. Yep. So don't give me this shit that we all suck his dick and he go, come on. I mean, Menners is really the voice of the inside
contrarians.
Yep. Where the contrarians, right? Not the troll. He's absolutely not a troll. He loves Kirk. But he will, and whether he's right or wrong, he still brings it up. But I really want to make sure that if we go out on this broadcast, that Dave Cullinane gets
Cullinane.
What did I say? I said
Cullinane.
Did I say Cullinane? Oh, Cullinane. Sorry, Dave.
Cullinane the whole time.
That he did I really? Oh shit! I know it's in my mind. I'm seeing Cullinane. Sorry, Dave. But you deserve thanks. You fucking
absolutely.
Did it. And for all of us.
Ned, we heard your thoughts on Curtis in DEC's podcast, but LK, do you have any thoughts on Curtis's rant? Have you have you tried calling EI?
Yeah, so I think he's a fucking loser, right? He's just like a certified loser.
Yep.
And to just play he was playing lip sync. He definitely did not mean what he said. He was either drunk or he wanted to kiss Greg Hill's ass. That was not his
it's jealousy
opinion. So fuck you, Curtis. I tried to call. I said, hey, I want to talk about Patriots and what Greg Hill thinks about that. And they're like, oh, no, he talked about Patriots before. Go listen. Like, yeah, whatever. So, yeah, I tried to call, but they were dropping almost every call.
So I got through to about the third call screener on that first day. And I called a few times, and that was the farthest I got. I didn't get on. One of the times I called and said, the first time I said, hey, I'm an Orthodox Jew. I'm Boston sports fan. I want to talk about Deshaun Jackson and the comments and all that stuff.
Good.
And right, I figured it could be like I said, I'd like to bring in that opinion. And the call screener's exact response was, Greg's not interested in the whole Jewish thing, and hung up.
Oh wow! What a fucking!
I was like, that's a great answer.
And then the last 2 on your station.
Exactly right. And then since that first day, all I've gotten was just ringing, and I haven't even been able to get to a screener at this point.
And you guys see that, right? Curtis is getting fat again. So
and I went off, and I'll just mention again, it's alcohol related. It has to be. I don't say that as a definite. Of course, I don't know him at all, but that rant, while the words weren't slurred, he was pretty articulate. It was definitely from an emotional place, where it was a liquid courage, as we used to say, right?
Yes.
And the fact that he is putting the weight back on says that's the calories. Empty calories are from alcohol.
He's got a little bit of Madawaska Mike in him right now.
And what sucks is, people in my family, people I know, like in recovery programs, when they fall off the wagon, and they all inevitably do, and they get back on for the most part, which is great. But it's not like you fall back to your first drink. You pick up right where you left off.
Oh yeah.
So I hope it's not true, but I'm guessing with that type of weight gain, he's back to Tanqueray, hold the lime, hold the tonic water,
so
take it from the bottle.
Speaking of Madawaska, Mike meeting up with Alba's parents this weekend. Right? What do you guys think about that?
Okay.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I'm just bummed that that the whole gang couldn't. That Steve from Providence's foolproof plan
fell
through, because that would have just been.
Did you guys watch the OG show?
Yeah.
Oh
Not
my
yet.
God. I was, crying
awesome.
laughing.
Yep.
That was great.
It was just, I mean, they're all
Oh.
ridiculous, but that just would have been amazing.
I think it was a blessing though that they weren't there, to be honest.
Yes,
You know,
for
although
sure.
maybe he might not have seen them unless they were at the very next
But-
table.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's no way he would see him.
Well, but imagine Mike explaining like Steve from Providence to his like future in-laws. It's impossible, right? Impossible. But
It would be
what
really good if they
surprised-
don't speak English.
Yeah. What surprised me was the fact that that Periscope that Mike did after, he was talking about how Alba is the
Nope.
the rebel of the family,
black sheep,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the black sheep. So that was interesting, So
Yeah.
maybe he didn't get in as bad as a situation as he thought he would. But
Well, I mean, he said that Alba's the youngest, right? That her brother's older.
I don't remember.
I don't know. I thought so, and I'm like, well,
I
yeah,
think
of
he
course.
is
The
old. I think
youngest
that's
is
fair.
always the youngest is always,
Gets
I'm
pass.
the youngest. I'm always the one who gets to get away with murder. But my wife is the
Maybe.
oldest, so
I was
her
the
family
oldest.
looks at her and as the queen.
Yeah.
What do you guys have any stories about like meeting up with girlfriends or your significant others' parents?
I think we're all
So-
married on this, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was dating my wife, about a couple months in, we knew that we wanted to get married. It wasn't going to be a long dating. So a couple months in, we were talking about, how I need to meet her family. Her grandfather was really sick. We didn't want me to have to meet her parents at a Shiva house. So we decided on a Sunday night that I'm going to meet her parents that week. We scheduled a time, everything great. That next morning, she calls me saying that they're driving up to the Catskills because her grandfather died. And I have to, and that's where her mother's from. And so I should cut, I think what she said is it would be nice if you came to the funeral and then went to make a Shiva call at my mom's house or my grandmother's house that night. So obviously saying it would be nice means I'm going. So I drove an hour and a half up there, ended up being 20 minutes late for the funeral. So I ended up not going in and just stayed in the car. I'm like, I would rather not be going in late. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I ended up sitting in the car for another hour. And then we went to her, to her grandmother's house. And I met my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, her aunts, uncles, grandmother, cousins, siblings, everyone. I met her entire extended family there. Drove all the way there, stay there for maybe 20 minutes, said hi to everyone, was incredibly awkward to meet them all in this morning's setting.
Yeah,
and
what
then
a
just
great
drove
way
an
to
hour
meet
and a
people,
half
right?
back. Yeah, exactly.
That
And then I drove an
sounds
hour and a half back
boss.
after
How
20
are
minutes.
you?
It was
Yeah.
horrible. Horrible.
No, yeah, it's and just to make sure the listeners know, you're Jewish, right?
Matt Dumas. Am I Jewish? I don't know. Matt Dumas, my biggest fan. Second only to Blind Mike Sneakers. I mean, Gold Chain. My two biggest fans. I am Jewish. This is a yarmulke. Have I mentioned that I'm Jewish yet?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm Jewish.
Yeah, so I remember like one of my first girlfriends, like I think I was 20 years old. Like up until that point, I didn't want to date anyone. I just wanted to live life. And she was one of my first girlfriends, and her dad was actually a doctor, and he was a urologist. So right after we met, she's like, "Hey, if you're gonna date me, my dad needs to check you up." And that always got stuck in my head. And then after 3 months of dating and like getting serious, it was time to meet the parents, and I had that on my head. I was 20. I was kind of innocent, and I was like, I called her the morning of and said, "Hey, I'm not going. Fuck it." No, I was ready to break up with her. Like, fuck it, I'm not going. Nobody's is touching my junk. And she's like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "You told me that when I meet your dad, he's gonna check me up. I don't want that. Fuck it." And she's like burst laughing, like, like, I was just kidding, blah blah. And obviously that became the conversation when I get there, right? Everyone making fun of me. But yeah, it was interesting. Yeah. I learned to be septic now.
I actually know someone who married this is a girl, and her husband's father is a gynecologist, and he originally wanted to examine her before they got married. And that was one wedding that we didn't think would ever come.
for
Yeah,
the
we
hymen?
thought that was going to bring
Like a
up
hymen
some, like,
check?
I don't
I
know.
have no
I have
idea.
no idea. I think they wanted that. This was like, listen, before you get married, you have like a ton of, you just everyone comes
That's
out that they're
strange.
clean. You check
Yeah.
yourself out, whatever. But make sure there's no genetic diseases, whatever. But it was just bizarre, and
That's what a blood test is for.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And she refused to do it, and I didn't think that wedding would ever happen. But yeah, that's why I was like, oh my god, it actually happened to someone else. What about you, Ned?
Well, my wife's parents are both divorced, and they were both divorced, and they each remarried or each had been married 4 times apiece, which in my uber Catholic household is like a no-no. So they're both Catholic. She wasn't really raised Catholic. She was, but there's rules in the church against divorce, and you can't go to mass and take any of the sacraments. So so I had to meet 2 separate sets of in-laws. I had to meet her mother and stepfather, and I had to meet her father and her stepmother. So her mother lived in Palm Beach with her stepfather, with her husband, who's a great guy, fantastic guy. And to up the ante, you're going to Palm Beach, and then you're going to the Palm Beach Yacht Club. So I'm like, not to go all Callahan on you, but I'm not. That's not my world, right?
Yep.
So I was just like, okay, I wasn't, we weren't lower middle class, but going. No one in my family belonged to clubs, right? Not even golf clubs or country clubs. So I'm like, okay, what? First thing was like, all right, what do I wear? And I was 20. Yeah, I was 20 years old. So all I had was a navy blue blazer, gray slacks, black shoes, a white shirt, So I'm sorry, that's my phone ringing. Oh shit, I can't take that call. Sorry. And so I said to my wife, I said, I think we were living together at the time, but I said, how's this? And she's like, good enough. So I'm like, I'm like, oh, okay. And of course I go there and everyone is dressed like, everyone is really dressed like the scene in Caddyshack when the kid gets invited to the country club, Yep. White slacks and shoes, blue blazers, jaunty caps and shit. Yep. I'm like, I'm not kidding. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And my big concern was, and I had to actually, had to re-ask my parents, okay, in a full setting of dinnerware, what fork do I use? What's the order of the forks? So luckily my mother said it's always, from the outside in, which she had told me a billion times, but I always forgot. So my big thing at dinner, at lunch, and it was lunch, was don't screw up, don't say anything stupid, just be polite. But I got to say, her stepdad was just a great guy. He was very encouraging because she's not his daughter, right?
Right.
So he was like, he was asking me like, so yeah, but he was kind of like, relax, don't worry, my rule too, I have a rule as well, is in situations like professional situations, for example, I have no more than 2 drinks.
Oh, of course.
And I always have a clear liquor with a clear mixer. So for example, vodka and tonic.
Yep.
So by your 3rd one, you're just asking for tonic water with a twist of lime. People still think you're drinking, but you're not, right?
Yep.
It saves a lot of embarrassment. Tip for you kids out there watching. So.
Yeah.
Big time.
But so lunch went really well. I didn't step on anything. But my mother-in-law was kind of grilling me because she did think her daughter, she was actually, my wife married down. But
no way.
You're
the only one who I wouldn't believe that.
I disagree. Yeah, I disagree.
No. But her family, my mother-in-law's family came from the coal mining country of Pennsylvania, Pottsville, Pennsylvania, home of Yingling beer. So her family, and she kicked the coal dust from her feet and went to Washington and worked at the FBI like during World War II, right?
Wow.
So she had a pretty interesting life, and they got married 4 times. But no, it wasn't terrible. Meeting my father-in-law and stepmother was much easier because they're more. He had retired already for like maybe 10 years already, and they were more down to earth and more intellectual. So we were able to. The dinner conversation was at home.
Very smarter.
It was more around books. It was more around books and what kind of books you like, and it was much easier conversation. So I never really had the uncomfortable.
You're
situation.
lucky, son of a bitch.
Well, because my daughters will have a very uncomfortable time when they bring.
Nice. And just so I don't get in trouble at home, I didn't talk about meeting my current in-laws because they were very nice. Nothing went wrong. I love them. Okay, there were nothing embarrassing. So all good in that department.
Yeah,
but I do suspect
I'm not gonna say
that
how I feel.
Yeah, your girls will probably be in trouble because we spoke last weekend about it,
Yes.
and I even gave you some tips. They are in it for a surprise, you know.
Yeah.
So
We'll
wait,
see.
tell us
I'm
about
Team Ned.
Tell us about last week because you guys.
Oh yeah,
talked
we could
about it.
actually talk about that. Yeah.
We're gonna hang out. Let's hear
No.
about it.
Was awesome.
We had a great time. First of all,
Yeah.
Delray Beach is a really nice spot, and LK and Mrs. LK are up in Boynton Beach at their place, which is not far away, and that's also really nice up there too. And Delray was open, which not that I was not surprised, but it was also busier than I expected. So that was actually really good. Good to see hustle and bustle of people out. But they did have social distancing in the restaurant, and you couldn't have any bar service. So we met at the Blue Anchor English Pub, which is also a restaurant. Very easy to get to, and they showed up, and we had a great time.
Great food.
I got caught up. Yep, good food, good drinks. He picked up the check, which he skunked me on that one. But then my wife did say she said that's okay. We paid last time, but I'm like I don't. She said I paid. I'm like, oh.
That's why you don't
okay.
remember.
That's why I don't remember.
That's why you don't remember.
So when we come back from Madawaska, that'll be not next weekend, but the weekend after. Before
you're gonna meet up.
We'll meet up, all four of us. So
because your wife didn't go. Your wife didn't go, and I was kind of.
My sister-in-law showed up, not unexpectedly, but she's driving from Tampa, and I said, well, what do you want to do? She goes, I don't know if we can bring them all, bring her, but it was a great time. But the best part was, if the conversation was fantastic. Mrs. LK is, first of all, she's a genius. The whole backstory between LK and Mrs. LK was fantastic. It's not my place to bring it, but it's a good story.
We'll have her on as a guest, and we'll
should have her on as a guest. But the best part, LK, was this group shows up.
Yeah,
we're about 2 hours into it, right? And this group shows up, and they're wearing overalls.
Well, with nothing else. That's short. That was it. Yeah.
They're all men, and they're all wearing either caps or cowboy hats, and they're all like red, white, and blue, like stars and stripes. And that's it. There was no shirts. They were wearing
no underwear. No one I could see their balls. Yeah.
So we're both we're all talking around like yeah, and then it was kind of like, the fuck.
It's like one of those scenes where the jukebox stops and just the record scratches.
But no, it was a very good time. Yeah.
Wait. So first of all, maybe the fact that you didn't pay last time, LK. Maybe that's why Mrs. Ned likes Will better. And did that change? Do we have any updates on Will versus LK?
I need to defend myself. I was drinking soda, right? I wasn't the one spending money. Will was the one drinking. Right. So if she picked up the tab, most of it was Will's drinks, not mine.
or mine.
Yeah,
true.
But do we have an update on whether she likes Will still more than LK?
Oh, she still likes Will more.
No. So here's what happened. She saw your last the hot sauce that beat you. She saw that, and she was crying, laughing. And she's like, how many of these are there? I'm like, well, let me show you. So I went back to the beginning, and she watched them all, and she's like, he's amazing. He's unbelievable. And I'm like, I know. It's like, I can
11 fans. I got 11 fans now.
Yep, exactly.
So fuck everyone else. Fuck you, manners. I have 11 fans.
Are you doing any more El Fuego? Because it seems like yesterday you were saying that you were.
I thought you were done. I heard you.
Yeah, no, I'm not done.
I think that was Menners. Did Menners make that up, or oh no, Steve from Providence said it. Why? Steve from Providence who said it.
I thought Steve said it.
Yeah, Steve from Providence said that on the OG show.
No, they were talking about the Minna Ladies is done too, which I'm disappointed. I did like that show.
No, I'm not done. What happened was I planned to bring the sauces to Florida. I forgot, so I bought an extra one here that's kind of the same score as the one that I failed. So I'm gonna use that as a practice for the revenge. Because if I don't beat the one that I lost, I'm not gonna continue. So this one is gonna be a practice round.
Okay.
For when I come back home. So yeah, there'll be less episodes because I'll probably do this one, and then August I'll pick up again.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yep.
So MHB.
Yep.
That's our topic. Yeah. I have no idea what happened. I love the guy. I don't interact with him at all because he's way up here and I'm down here.
Yeah.
I mean, I've DM'd him once or twice in the time I've come into contact with him, which has been, I think, since 2000. The interesting story is, and he doesn't remember this, is I started sending out some tweets as to what I thought was happening to Kirk back in, I want to say, the fall of 2000. 18, right?
Mm-hmm.
After his meltdown over Brady, right?
Yep.
And I said something like they're never going to let him back. He's not coming back. And I just kept putting things like that. There's no way that Intercom is going to allow him to come back, especially with the Red Sox in the World Series. Then I suddenly get a DM from, and again, I only learned how Twitter really works in the last year, but I'm like, how does this guy even contact me? I didn't realize that he's following me. I'm following him.
Yep.
So, and he sent like just a one line, what do you know?
Yeah.
And I went back. I'm like, I'm no one. I don't know anything. This is just my opinion.
Love
and
it.
so he's like, can I use you as a source or something? Like he was trying to do some background. I'm like, I don't know. It's all opinion. I really don't know, but I'll be willing to help. You want some help?
Yep.
I'll be willing to help because he's getting railroaded.
Yep.
And then not that long after that, and I'm not really sure how I found out John from Featherston with All Politics Are Local.
Mm-hmm.
And it was John Featherston and John Kerwin, I think his name is. They had that show on the Sunday mornings from someplace in Worcester. It was a terrific show. And they also talked about Kirk. And then MHB came on as a guest. And I actually called in, but I don't know what set me off at 8 o'clock in the morning, but I started this rant about, I think I was outside too. So I was shouting. And they were like, well, thank you, from Florida. Thank you very much. Click, I was like, damn.
That's funny.
But that's been
were you talking about Jerry? Like, were you complaining about Jerry?
No. I was actually talking about, Shirley and the conspiracy that went up against him.
Yeah,
but I feel terrible because he's fantastically enjoyable. And
I think
Manners does have a point. He's good. He was great with
and
NHB.
I've DM'd with him a bunch. He has been nothing but super kind and awesome and friendly to me. I know that there's a whole number of people who have their issues with him. I'm a huge fan. I really like him. He's in my mind one of the good guys. But I didn't see the tweet either.
So he was mocking the tweet about the. Did you see the ones that Obama did and Joe Biden did?
I saw. By the way, I revoted Elon Musk.
Yeah, so he mocked.
I thought it was real.
So hold on, he mocked that tweet, which I think he copied from Jerry's consultant. I think Jerry's consultant did first. He did as well. And I think he got in trouble because of that. There's no explanation because he's not active, right? So that was his latest tweet, and he hadn't tweeted in a while.
It's not even that the account is suspended. The account is banned. Like if you go to his page, it says this account is banned.
Oh, see, I saw what he put up. That he put up something that your account is suspended for hate speech, and I'm like,
you can't even see that anymore. Now, if you go there, it just says completely.
But how is that?
But even his burner got suspended as well.
Yeah,
he had a
they can get into the IP.
I didn't even know which his burner was.
It was real MHB, but the I instead of an L.
But
wait, they IP blocked him?
I think so.
That's
crazy. They've done to what's his name?
Turtle Boy,
actually.
Yeah, Turtle Boy not reaching.
But I didn't see the tweet that got him caught. Was it? Did he say anything hateful on there?
No, it was just mocking, like, hey, whatever Obama had, but instead of a link to Bitcoin was kirkminihenshow.com.
That's actually fucking clever. Actually,
it is. It is funny.
Well, that's not hate speech. Come on.
No.
But it's a bot, right? It's an algorithm. So I think because it was so similar with the original one, I think they just batch banned everyone, and if they reassess that, he will probably get his account back. But in order to get a human to talk to at Twitter is hard. So who knows? The odds are very low.
You guys are better in IT than I will ever be. So if he got the a different a VPN, could that work?
I think he would have to get a new phone. I don't think they ban by IP because you can easily change. I think they block the hardware. So he would have to get a new phone.
Oh no, that's not so bad. Okay.
Or is a combination? I don't know. It might be a combination of multiple factors. Well, if it's IP, it's easy. If it's IP, it's easy, right?
Yep.
But I don't think it is. Like Turtle Boy is smart enough to change his IP if that was the problem, and it took him 3 years to
that's true.
Get his account back or a new account, right? So I don't know.
Yep. So does anybody care? Does anybody care about the ratings and where we were in the YouTube ratings?
Well, we only had one show.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah. We're getting better, I think.
Agreed. And listen,
I have to admit, even I looked at it going, wait, what days where I am? It's bad. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, but listen, like we said with Manners in one of the chats, that we know this is not for everyone. We're just enjoying having fun and just talking and being three dudes just shooting the shit.
Yep.
Yeah,
But we got to step it up, guys. We got to do. I don't know. LK's got to take a shirt.
Sure,
Off or
we'll bring-
something.
Should we buy some views? Should we buy some views?
Buy some
Let's
views.
do that.
Well, we should bring Menners in to be like the John Taffer of this episode.
Yeah.
And just have him come in and yell at us and tell us what we're all doing wrong.
We should do exactly. We should pull
No,
him in
but
one time.
he should be on the background and just pop in and say,
Yep.
"Hey, this is what you're doing wrong."
Yep.
And then,
You fuckheads are doing this right.
save. All right, guys.
Hey,
I think
This
that's
is
it
great.
for today, right?
it's good
All
I
right.
fun.
think we're good.
Nice
Thanks.
talking to you.
Who's the intern?
Justin.
Justin,
Thank you,
thank you
Justin.
very much, buddy.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Justin.
Have a good one.
See you
Talk
guys.
to you later, guys.
See you in
Yep.
Saco.